Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Players Own YouTube channel, and we are back very quickly once again for the Premier League predictions for match week 26 now. Obviously last week, interesting game week, a few big results, a few close games, but nonetheless, nothing really, too dissimilar to what we thought. Maybe the Chelsea result there was a bit different, but as such, it really helped my prediction points out. I managed 9 prediction points last week, adding on to our 151, which I came into the match week with, which means I come into this match week on 160 of our prediction points. So very happy with that. A few good weeks now, an 8-pointer and a 9-pointer. So maybe this week is the week we finally get back to number 10 points. If you're new to the channel and wondering how the prediction points work, it is 1 point for the correct result, 3 points for the correct scoreline, obviously 0 if you get neither correct. Some massive games in this game week. We've got earlier kickoffs, that's why I've got this video coming out a little bit earlier, and then some games all around the league with a few teams having the week off as well. So very interesting, going to be difficult to really get all these predictions right, but I cannot wait for this match week to come around. Please guys, if you'd like the video, please smash a like on it, subscribe to the Players Own channel for more content like this, and also share the channel with mates who would enjoy this type of content. That all being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's get straight into the predictions. All right, our first game is the game that's going to be kicking off in a few hours' time. It's Liverpool versus Luton in the pre-match almost of the weekend. Liverpool obviously got the Carabao Cup final to worry about on Sunday evening, but this is another massive game for them. Every game now is going to feel like a final for Liverpool. They want to win every game they possibly can for Jurgen Klopp and get as many trophies as possible. They currently sit top of the Premier League by a single point now over Manchester City. And this game's a massive game. It can be a bit of a banana skin as well. Luton have been very good in recent weeks. They've taken it to Manchester United. They've been very good at home versus Newcastle, versus Chelsea, versus Arsenal, and also Liverpool themselves. They took a point off them early in the season. So this is the game they cannot take lightly. I expect the big guns to all go from the start. But for Liverpool, it's important they get on top of the game early. The likes of Salah, Nunez, get them chances early on, score the goals, and then rest the players for the big cup final on the weekend there. So I expect Liverpool to make the fast start, Anfield to be right in behind this crowd. And for Luton, it's about sort of withstanding pressure. There's going to be periods of time where they're going to be overwhelmed. That Anfield crowd, the Cop will be on the back of Liverpool here, and Luton are going to find it difficult at times. But like they did versus Manchester United, ride those tough moments. The first 10 minutes, they were very poor versus Manchester United, but for 80 minutes, they were the better side in many regards. They went and expressed themselves. They got players on the halfway line. The likes of Ross Barkley were very impressive. Ogbene was superb once again. And when you've got Carlton Morris up there at Adebayo, who should be back hopefully in this game, you've got goal threat as well. So I think for them, keep playing the way you've been playing. Keep being aggressive, defend nice and compact when you're under some pressure, and really take it to Liverpool. The chance to get a massive point or 3 points in their relegation battle. Equally for Liverpool, it's massive for their title race. They're obviously missing Jota, Curtis Jones, Alisson, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai. So a lot of names are missing, so it's very important they just grind out results over this next sort of period until that big Manchester City game. I think, though, with Liverpool's quality, they need to keep winning the form they're currently in. I think they'll get over the line in this one. I feel them winning this game 3-1 at home. I think Luton will keep it tight early on, but Liverpool, with their quality, will get over the line once that 90th minute whistle gets sound. Our next game is at Villa Park. It's Aston Villa hosting Nottingham Forest. A very interesting game. Obviously, Aston Villa have lost 3 on the trot at home, but have bounced back well last week. An important 2-1 win over Fulham in a game which was very entertaining. Probably went under the radar as one of the big games of the weekend last weekend. It was very exciting. Fulham played in their yo-yo style, one of their better games of football all season, and took it to Aston Villa. But in important moments, Aston Villa came out on top, and 2 players shone for me. Obviously, Ollie Watkins with the double, but also Yuri Tielemans, who's introduced into that midfield with the injury of Boubacar Kamara, and was very, very solid, composed, great on the ball, and great in this passing style of play that Unai Emery likes to have. I think their backline can look shaky at times, but if you keep creating for midfield and get those overloads into the attacking regions, I think Villa, that's when they're at their best, flooding numbers for midfield, using the width with Leon Bailey, when Diaby comes to the bench, using his pace and allowing those fullbacks to bomb on and get on the outside and get balls into the area. I think the more chances you get Ollie Watkins, the more chances you get Leon Bailey, the more the chance that Douglas Luiz and McGinns have opportunities to shoot from the edge of the area, the more likely Villa are to win games of football. I think their success in the back half of the season will be built on them being aggressive and outscoring teams. I think that's the key for them. And it'll be the key for them in this game here as well. At home, at Villa Park, the crowd will definitely get in behind them. And they're versing a Nottingham Forest team that right now gotten away from the drop zone after that massive 3 points versus West Ham United, but are still in that region there. They need to keep winning games of football. They want to keep improving their style of play as well. I'm loving what Hudson-Odoi, Awoniyi and Alanga have got up front. It's so dynamic, it's so fast. It's such a threat in behind back lines, and it can definitely expose the Aston Villa side if they play that high line and they allow those fullbacks to bomb on and get into forward areas. That's going to be their key to this game. And also in midfield areas with Dominguez and that solid structure. They want to play nice and compact and narrow, the likes of Murillos of the world as well. I think these sort of players, the five of them, are very, very important for this Forest side. Whenever these guys play well, the team normally plays well. And we saw against West Ham, they were just resolute at the back. They didn't allow West Ham any clear opportunities. And when they had the opportunity to break or to break down that West Ham side, they did it at ease at times, and they could have made that game 3 or 4 goals in their favour. So they were very impressive. I'm loving what Alanga and Hudson-Odoi have been doing, and they're going to cause Villa some problems. But I think Villa have turned the corner with that result last week. As such, being at home, I've got Villa winning this game at 3-0. Our next game takes us down to the south coast. It is Brighton hosting Everton. Brighton obviously got the massive win versus Sheffield United on the weekend, smacked them about. But I don't think that really translates over. It's not really a tick in any box to beat Sheffield United at the moment. But the key to take out of that game and the games at the start of the season was Brighton look at their best when they're creating for midfield and scoring a lot of goals. In the last 3 games in which they've won, they've managed to score 13 goals in those games. And you remember at the start of the season, they were scoring 4 with 3 plus teams for fun. So it's when they attack well and create more for midfielders when they look at their best. Pascal Gross moving into that midfield area alongside Billy Gilmore creates that more attacking threat. Bonanotte in the number 10 spot, I think, is a very good find for them. And you got Adringa coming back with the 2 goals. It was very impressive. And Mitoma looked at his aggressive, direct best on the weekend. I know it was Sheffield United, but he was attacking the fullbacks for fun, jinking inside, outside, creating chances. And that's when I think Brighton look at their best. So in this game here, they're going to take that same mindset into Everton. Again, another team that will sit in narrow, sitting compact. They last time out got an important point versus Crystal Palace. Lucky in some ways, didn't have the greatest chances, but got over the line in the end. But keeps it now out of the relegation zone. And Everton want to stay there. They want to keep getting handy points and handy wins. And it's going to be half them away to Brighton. Brighton look like they've turned a corner a little bit, being inconsistent at times, but a big win for Sheffield United and big wins versus Tottenham in the past shows me that they're going in the right direction. So it's going to be tough for Everton. I imagine they'll be in that compact shape, but the Coro coming back will help them supply the old counter-attacking threat or high-pressing threat in there as well. But for Everton, you almost have to be perfect in this game here to get anything out of the game. I've got Brighton winning this game quite convincingly, 4-1. I just think they have too much attacking threat and too much confidence at the moment, and I think Everton will just fall short in this game here. Our next game is a bit of a relegation 6-pointer. It's Crystal Palace hosting Burnley in what is Oliver Glasner's first game in charge of Crystal Palace. Obviously, Roy Hodgson stepping aside. His final game in charge was the 1-1 draw to Everton, which in many regards I think Palace fans will be quite disappointed with. They played some good football through good periods of time in that game there, but just couldn't get over the line. And once again, without Elise and without Eze, they just aren't the same sort of team, Crystal Palace. Getting the score sheet with a belting goal was massive for them, but their creativity has not seemed to be there this season, and also the defence has fallen away as well. Obviously, some key names at the back missing. They went to the 5-back system and it worked all right. They looked much more solid at the back and much more controlled when they had possession. So that's a tick in that box there. But I guess in Oliver Glasner's first game in charge, what we're going to expect from him, it's going to be very controlled game, very controlling of areas. He likes to be nice and compact at times and control spaces around the park. No easy chance for possession for opposition sides. He's had success in Germany, at Lask as well, over the periods by playing this style of football. It's not going to be so progressive, but it's going to work for Crystal Palace. It's results business, and he's going to try and get those results. So for them, it's going to be a sort of a shot in the dark, this prediction here, because we don't know what they're going to come out with. But I expect them to have that new manager bounce, and being at home, the fans getting behind the new manager, I expect a better result. I don't know how they're going to be in the forward areas. That's where I feel like they've been at their worst this season. Without Elise, without Eze, they don't have that real clinical edge, that final third bite. But they're going to have it versus this Burnley side, because Burnley, they did get smashed by Arsenal 5-0, but I think Arsenal are probably the best team in the world at the moment. So we can ignore that result there. They've looked better over the recent weeks. Again, I'm being very positive with this side here. It's a young side, inexperienced, not really Premier League quality yet, but they've shown signs, being more compact without the ball, then expressing themselves in terms of playing those, those triangles and more possession play past halfway. That's what we're seeing from Burnley. It's been much more impressive in recent weeks. I think they'll take it to Crystal Palace. They'll cause them some problems, but being at home, the new manager bounce, and Palace needing to get away from that bottom three, then they'll get the win here. It'll be a 2-1 game for me. Palace and Oliver Glasner getting his first win in this game here. Our next game is in Manchester. It's Manchester United hosting Fulham in what could be a very interesting game. Obviously, Manchester United have been great in recent weeks. 4 wins on the bounce in the Premier League, a record-breaking start to a game versus Luton. Rasmus Højlund breaking the record for most consecutive games scored as a young player, the youngest player to do so. And it all seems to be going in the right direction right now for Manchester United. But we can't ignore the fact that against Wolves, against Luton, against Aston Villa, United have taken their foot off the accelerator and let teams back into games. And that's where Fulham can have a key part to play in this game here. They obviously are looking quite solid. They've obviously had a few injuries in terms of Shaw. You've got Martinez out. But with Casemiro, Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes at midfield 3 there, I think Manchester United look at their best there. It's Mainoo dropping in at times, Casemiro being that holder, Mainoo able to go a bit more forward and play, Bruno basically now in the front 4, not having to do any defensive duties. It just looks much better for Manchester United, and they've made some massive away wins in this period here, so it'd be good to be back at home in front of the Old Trafford crowd and get that crowd in behind the side. They've won so many different ways in this last sort of patch, dominating teams like West Ham, having good periods versus Wolves and coming through in the clutch versus Aston Villa, and then a great early start versus Luton and then grinding a result out. I expect a more 90-minute type performance versus Fulham. They're going to need that because Fulham are a difficult side to beat at times. Just look at the Aston Villa game last week. Fulham, probably their best performance of the season without winning a game. They were on the front foot at times. They were solid at the back. They really took it to Villa. And right now it seems like Muniz is their answer to goals. I always said when Fulham score goals, they win games of football. When Raul Jimenez had his good little run through the middle of the season, they were winning games. He dropped out at the drop in performances. Muniz has come back here with, I believe, 5 goals in 4 games. And they're looking like a much better side, looking more threatening. So I think that's the key in this game here. For Manchester United, put together a 90-minute performance, you win this game. For Fulham, though, if you can get at Manchester United, press them, get up and at them, try and attack this team. Because when Luton have attacked them, Wolves have attacked them, Villa has attacked them, United have looked vulnerable at times. So for Fulham, it's get Muniz on the score sheet, create some chances, and attack Manchester United. Don't be so passive away from home. And that's their chance to get something out of this game. With it all being said, though, I think Manchester United have the quality, they have the form to win this game. Being at home as well, that also helps. I've got Manchester United winning this game 3-1. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be tight, but the quality will show through in the end. Our next game is down at the South Coast once again. It's Bournemouth hosting Manchester City. And unfortunately, I can only see this going one way. And despite how good Bournemouth were versus Newcastle United, they're nowhere near that sort of best they were 5 to 6 match weeks ago where they're taking it to sides. Don't get me wrong though, this style of football can translate to the big guys, but they haven't quite got the quality there to match up with the Manchester City. And defensively, they're not really a defensively orientated team to go and hold on and get a point versus Manchester City. I think though, importantly though, Semenyo's back, Tavernier's form seems to be coming back as well, and Solanke's back in the goals. Those 3 are going to be important for a snatch and grab versus Manchester City to get the ball on the counter-attack and score a counter-attack goal. We know they've been, in games, they've caused Man United problems, they've caused Liverpool problems, and they caused Newcastle problems last time out. So they're very good in terms of playing that counter-attacking style of football, but I don't think that their defence can hold up against a Manchester City side that's functioning in all levels here. They obviously got a tough draw versus Chelsea. They were very good versus Brentford, but just couldn't break them down. They got that 1-0 result. They got that important goal, Haaland getting that goal. And that just sums up where City are. When they're not quite there, they'll still get a goal through Haaland or get a goal through Rodri or De Bruyne. They've just got too much talent, too much quality. So I can only see this game really going one way. I've got Man City winning this game 4-0. Might seem tough on Bournemouth, but I think Man City back after the season, they're just too good. They're too focused, and they'll get another massive 3 points here in their title race. Our next game is probably the biggest of the weekend. It's Arsenal hosting Newcastle United. And boy, Arsenal are probably the best team in football at the moment. They're scoring goals for fun. 20 goals in their last 5 games battering sides. 5-0 last time versus Burnley. Everyone's functioning. It's Ødegaard and Saka at world-class levels once again. Declan Rice hasn't missed a beat all season. Kai Havertz is looking great as well. Martinelli's back close to that form he was last season. And that back four with Zinchenko there looks very, very compact, very solid, and doesn't look like it's going to concede any goals. Jakub Kiwi always looked very good there, filling in, and done a great job. I don't think Zinchenko deserves his spot back in because this backlines look better without him. And being at home, they've almost been unbeatable there. We saw what they did versus Liverpool last time at home. Absolutely dominated off the park in that second half there. Made Liverpool make mistakes, and I think they're going to cause a similar thing versus Newcastle. Newcastle will probably be on the defence in this game here. We'll respect Arsenal. We're playing a more compact shape and make it hard for Arsenal to score. Give them that respect they rightly deserve. So it's going to take time for Arsenal to break down this Newcastle side because we know how good that Newcastle team can be at the back when they apply themselves. But Arsenal's quality and Arsenal's pressure will just be too much for Newcastle to deal with. And we've seen in recent weeks they concede 4 to Luton at home, concede 2 to Bournemouth at home, scrape a 3-2 win versus Nottingham Forest. This Newcastle team isn't as solid as it was last season at the back. So I think Arsenal can have their way a little bit. It's just important they get that first goal. Once that first goal goes in, I think the floodgates will open. As such, I've got Arsenal win this game 3-1. I think Newcastle's haven't got that presence up front at the moment. You got Gordon, you got Barnes and Almiron. There's no real focal striker figure there. So unless Wilson or Isak can come back, I just don't see them having any real hold-up play or any real chance to counter-attack properly and be clinical in front of goal. So as I said, Arsenal, if they get the first, they'll cruise it. I think they've got them win this game 3-1. Our next game sees Wolves versus Sheffield United. And like most weeks, whoever versus Sheffield United's a bit of a slam dunk, especially with this Wolves side. They're playing some great brand of football. They took it to Manchester United. They beat Chelsea away from home. And they beat Tottenham last time out away from home as well. All in different ways. They were good versus Chelsea, good in possession, good counter-attacking versus Chelsea. They were great in the front foot versus Manchester United, locking them in their own half and playing with possession and breaking through the lines. And then versus Tottenham, absorbing pressure and counter-attacking and being absolutely clinical in front of goal. So this team can win in so many different ways. Gary O'Neill's sides are always so clinical, always so efficient. And I think they'll do the same thing here versus Sheffield United. We know how good Wolves are at home. They've beaten some of the big guns. They've taken it to the big boys at home. And with the form of Neto coming back into the side as a facilitator, Hwang in front of the goals is always a threat. Matthäus Cunha as well. João Gomez with his double was massive last time out, pushing over midfield. Nelson Semedo has been very important for this team. There's just so many informed players and so many quality players that this Sheffield United side, who I just think don't have the quality all this season, will have nothing to stop them. They obviously lost heavy last time out to Brighton, and I don't see anything changing here. I've got Wolves winning this game 4-0, and it could be more if they're in the mood to smack Sheffield United around a bit. Final game of the match week sees West Ham back at home. They're hosting Brentford in an all-London affair. And boy, this is going to be an interesting one. West Ham still win this in 2024. They're still without Paqueta. And since Calvin Phillips has joined, it's been a shambles. The midfield looks unbalanced. He's made too many mistakes. And West Ham just don't look anything like themselves in this first half of the season. They're losing midfield battles. They're not creating enough. Even on the counter-attack, they don't look like they have any real idea or cutting edge in front of goal. They're just lacking a lot of confidence all over the park. And right now, they need almost like a jump start to get their season back alive. They're just slipping further down. And I think their confidence is at an all-time low at the moment. It's good to see Mikel Antonio back, a real focal figure up front, allows Bowman to go back out to the flank, which I quite enjoy. We've seen them at home be positive at times and look more like an attacking side, but I just think at the moment it's so hard to go alongside for West Ham because there's just no confidence in this side. I don't believe in them the way they're playing their football. They're not good with possession. They're not good without a possession at the moment. At least at the start of the season, they were good without the ball. They could counter-attack and counter-press teams well, but they seem to have lost that identity as well. So it's really quite strange for West Ham at the moment. I really don't trust them. Whereas Brentford, I have a lot of faith in this team now. They've turned the corner since Tony's come back. You got Vista back now as well. More patience in great form. They took it to Liverpool. In that first half, it was back and forth, like a ping-pong type affair. Your go, my go, your go. And in the end, Liverpool's quality and a few defensive mistakes at the back got them over the line. And then midweek, obviously Man City beating Brentford 1-0. That defensive orientation came back once again. You're seeing Onyeka back in that midfield, Norgard in there, Jensen in there as well. And then I'm loving what they're doing with Reguilon at the wing-back position. He's been very good, underappreciated, undervalued pickup for them in their system. I just think they've got so much going for them at the moment. They're playing some very, very solid football. And despite not being a great travelling side, I think they can cause problems for West Ham, especially in the poor form West Ham are currently in. I'm going to bet on a draw here. I'm going for a 1-1 draw here. Brentford to score first and then West Ham to pull one back. But I think it's going to be a game that's going to be won or lost in that midfield battle there. Whoever can win the midfield area, dominate that midfield possession and dominate possession will likely win this game of football here. So going to be a tight one, a massive one for West Ham, see if they can get their season back alive, and for Brentford to keep the good vibes going despite having some negative results as of recently. And that being said, ladies and gents, that brings my predictions for match week 26 in the Premier League to an end. Obviously a shortened match week with a few teams missing games in the Carabao Cup final and the like, but definitely an exciting weekend. We've got Arsenal and Newcastle. We've got Manchester United and Fulham in there as well. And do Man City keep their good run of form up this weekend with another important win as well? Do Brighton smash Everton around? There's so many different storylines. That's what we love about the Premier League, and that's what makes my predictions very, very hard. Let me know what you think of my predictions in the comment section down below. Have I got it right? Have I got it wrong? What's your predictions for your team on the weekend? And if you did enjoy the video, guys, can you please smash a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and share the channel with mates? That would be very much appreciated. I'm sorry it's coming out so late before this first game of the match week, but just time schedule didn't line up well as well. Keep it in mind as well, the Monday podcast is out, and our midweek podcast, me and Nathan, is coming out in a few hours' time as well. So check that one out as well as we come towards the weekend's football action. With that being said, ladies and gents, hope you enjoy the video, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and enjoy the football action for the weekend. And I'll see you guys in another video very, very soon. Until then, guys, see you later.